about a year ago maybe, I decided I wanted to go to Kazakhstan for no particular reason. And that's why this summer I decided to fly to Kazakhstan. Our first stop was Astana. Astana is the capital city of Kazakhstan. It's also, if I'm not wrong, the newest capital city in the world, and it's definitely unlike anything I have seen before. It's very modern. It's a medley of different architectures all around the city that feels very surreal, or like you're on a movie set or something. Hi guys, so we are now in Astana. We arrived this morning actually. We are just walking around in Astana, and I will probably write about it somewhere, but it's just a really weird city. It's huge, super modern. There's like nothing that's human sized, and there's like almost no one in the streets. So
que je filme auto?
But it feels really surreal. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Usually I'm not really the type of person that likes modern big cities, but I ended up liking Astana because it's very different and because it has a charm of its own, despite being perhaps on pictures and video quite strange. And it also has beautiful mosques, little cafes, and those big avenues with flowers and trees and a lot of green. So it's actually quite interesting to stop by if you're visiting Kazakhstan. What I really liked as well was the contrast between those big, huge buildings, quite decadent, and the more, I would say, normal sort of architecture, and how lively it was. At night, the city is completely different. Feels like you're on a circus or something, with all those lights, those skyscrapers, those bridges, and those cars. You can definitely see that they're trying to make it very different and very unusual, which kind of works actually. We stayed for a couple of days in Astana and enjoyed as much as possible, and then we decided we wanted to see something else. So we decided to take the train to go to Borovoy, which is in the north of Astana. It's a beautiful lake, you will see that. So we took the train, and it was such a great experience. We connected with a father and his kids in front of us. He was reading Dostoevsky, and an old man next to us who was doing magic tricks. And then here we were in the nature. So it was beautiful, it was refreshing, it was calm, it was peaceful, it was quiet. We had a bit of a gloomy weather, but that's fine by me. I do like my gloomy weather. It was such a nice moment of the trip. I loved it.
On me voit?
Non, baisse-toi.
Ah mais si, on voit ma jambe.
Oui, mais... Ah, mais moi je voulais qu'on te voit, Mel.
Ah.
Vas-y. Encore. Hop là. So we are in Borovoy, next to Burabe Lake, and we're just walking around, and it's really nice. It's calm and quiet, and it's not too cold, but it's definitely quite cool, let's say. No?
Yes.
And yeah, I guess that's it. I'm just gonna film a little bit for you, and I don't think we're gonna do anything else today but just walk around. So I shall see you soon. Man, ça va? Très bien. I don't know how well you can hear me. I know for sure that the lighting is terrible, but Yeah. Anyway, we are in Astana and we're sleeping in one of the two train stations because we're leaving for Karaganda tomorrow morning, and we just couldn't get a hotel and whatever. It was a little bit tricky to actually find a way to get to Karaganda and then to Almaty, so we're spending the night in the train station on those little things in a restaurant which is not closed, and we have our sleeping bags, and there is actually a lot of people around, so it's a bit weird, but we're fine. Okay guys, so just a few minutes ago actually just a few minutes ago I was vlogging about how we were staying in the train station and it was not so comfortable. So as soon as I just turned off the camera, a few people working there with no English whatsoever, but just with their phone and a translator came and told us that we couldn't sleep there. So at first we were like, sure, it's fine and we understand, but they were not really interested in like preventing us from sleeping. They actually wanted to help us. So what they did was, I think at the end there were like 5 or 6 of them, with 2 of them speaking English, and they took us to this room with beds and a bathroom, like a real bathroom in the train station. And it's really just because they wanted to help us, which is so actually very, very kind and unexpected. And I must say, all the people that we've encountered and we've met in Kazakhstan were super, 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 super kind. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you guys. Mel, qu'est-ce que t'as à dire?
Incroyable.
So yeah. So we are in the train to Karaganda, and it's actually a train where you can sleep in. If you want to, you can just have a bed up there and a bed there. It's pretty modern and clean and nice. So yeah, it's actually really nice. Kind of makes you want to wish you would stay longer in the train, but no. Hi guys! Hein? Ouais. Mais même à Myanmar aussi, hein. Je me souviens. Hi guys! So we are now in Kolinda. C'est ça? Ou Kalinka? Kolinka. Kolinka.
Dolinka.
Dolinka. Sorry. So we are now in Dolinka and we are going to visit a gulag, which has been transformed partly into a museum. And yeah, we are the only non-Kazakh or non-Russian tourists here. But there is someone speaking English, so that's fine. And our taxi driver is really, really kind and helpful. So everything is going very smoothly, despite the language barrier, which is quite strong, I have to say. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to film anything inside, but if yes, I will definitely do and show you. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Unfortunately, I couldn't film inside, but it was very interesting and very sad as well. Karaganda was my favorite city, my favorite part of the whole trip. It was a charming city. The weather was nice, the food was quite nice, the people were super kind, and I really enjoyed stopping by, even though it apparently was just a very small and typical, with nothing really interesting city. It definitely stood up for me. Ça, c'est très connu. are now in Karaganda. I think yesterday when I talked to you, yeah, we already talked when I was in Karaganda. And yesterday we were at the Gulag. And today we just walked around the city. It's Sunday, so most things were closed, but we managed to eat Korean food, which was really, really nice. We got to see churches and a mosque and just, walk around the city and see what it looks like. It is a pretty nice city, I have to say. It was not described as such in the guide or by other people that we met, but I'm glad that we finally ended up spending a few days here because it's relaxing and it's more human-sized and it feels more like a normal city where you could just hang out and, do your groceries and have a drink with people, whatever. Even though the city is clearly divided into two, you have a part which is very much industrial and Soviet inspired. I mean, it's not inspired, but the feeling definitely remains. And you have another part of the city which I'm not sure if it's actually more modern or more recent, probably not, but it has been perhaps a bit more decorated, and you have shops and you have restaurants and cafes and you can walk and you have lots of greens and parks, so it feels a lot more pleasant, I suppose. Warm. So yeah, that's all I have to say. That's all I have to report for today. Tomorrow we will probably visit a museum and see what else we can do in the city, and the day after tomorrow we're flying to Almaty or Almata. Apparently people pronounce it differently, I don't know why. And again, that's all I have to say, so I shall leave you. After Karaganda, it was time to fly to Almata, which was the ancient capital. So we took a plane because trains were apparently all booked because it was the holiday season, so they were all full. I'm actually really glad that we took the plane because it was faster and much more comfortable. And the airport of Karaganda was probably one of the smallest airports I've ever seen in my life, but everything went well. When you arrive in Almaty, you definitely feel a big difference with all the cities you've seen in Kazakhstan. It's a lot more, it's not as modern as Astana, but it definitely feels more European and more lively, and you have more people and you have more bars and terraces and restaurants and shops and everything. And at first I really enjoyed the city because I felt so relieved to sort of feel more comfortable in a city, even though Karaganda was amazing. But then I ended up not liking Almaty that much because it was kind of messy and too hot for me. But it definitely is beautiful, and you have lots of different things to see, such as cathedrals and museums and shops and markets. So obviously everyone stops by and many people like it a lot, which is understandable. After Almaty, we went on a tour to the lakes because Almaty is surrounded by beautiful nature and very impressive nature, actually very, very intriguing, I want to say. So we drove for a long time in the desert and through canyons to actually reach those mountains and those lakes. The views were quite impressive, especially considering that we have nothing like this in France. And I really, really loved being in nature, and it kind of made me feel even a bit nostalgic or a bit sad. I wished I lived in nature at that point. It was just such a wonderful experience. Nature makes you feel so happy and so humble. Amazing. Hi guys! So, attends, c'est focus ou pas? Non, ça va prendre 30 secondes. Hi guys! So I just wanted to say a quick hello because we are at Lake Kaindi in Kazakhstan, obviously. And it's very beautiful. You've probably seen the footage by now, or I will put it after, I don't know yet. But it's beautiful. It's a bit cold. A bit. But it's really nice, really worth the 5-hour drive. And so yeah, I just wanted to check in with you. That's it. If you're following me on Instagram, you know that I've had a terrible experience. Even though it was beautiful, some things happened that were terrible. So it definitely remains in my memory as a beautiful part of the trip, but also probably one of the most difficult one, emotionally speaking, emotionally wise. Yeah, that's Kazakhstan, I guess. That's definitely how the trip felt for me. So we went to a second lake, which was beautiful as well. And then onto Sharin Canyon, which is between Almaty and the lakes when you're going down from the lakes. It's so interesting to have this huge contrast between those green, very fresh and humid sceneries and then this canyon. Very, very unique. We finally went back to Almaty, spent one day there, enjoying just the daily life of people and walking around. And then it was time for Mel to leave and go back to France. Another friend of mine arrived and we took a night train, not so modern and not so comfortable as the first one, really, really hot and really old, to go to Taraz. So it was the beginning of another part of the trip in the south of the country. A part of the trip that would end up and turn out to be really difficult for me. So basically in the north of Kazakhstan you have these very green, beautiful sceneries, and then in the south you have these very desert-like landscapes, and the temperature is really different and the lifestyles are very different too. It was very interesting, very, very unlike anything I had seen before once again, but very hard on me, and definitely not my favorite part of the trip, even though we met amazingly kind people. So Kazakhstan is mostly a Muslim country, but because of the very important Russian population, you also have Orthodox churches all around, and it's a nice thing to see people cohabit that well. Also, Islam in Kazakhstan is very light, if I can say it like this, and people are quite free, even though obviously it's a bit of a generalization and it's not as easy as it sounds. And then on to another night train to Turkestan, which is apparently one of the most beautiful cities in Kazakhstan. It's also one of the hottest cities, and the temperature was about 40 degrees Celsius every day, which was too much for me. So Turkestan is known mostly for the mausoleum, which is impressive and beautiful and definitely reminds me of the architecture that you see in Uzbekistan, which is also a country on my bucket list. So Turkestan was beautiful, but way too hot. When the night falls, it actually cools down a little bit and people get outside. And it's the best part of the day because you can walk without sweating and without feeling like you're dying every minute, and everything looks very mysterious and mystical with, the sunset and the little lights. It's definitely beautiful. I don't know if you can hear. You probably can hear, but the hotel we're staying at is just located within a restaurant. I mean, there's a restaurant as well, but it's also a nightclub, which obviously they did not state on the website. And it's super loud, and it's about 11 p.m. So great when you want to sleep. I guess, I kind of wanted to complain a little bit, but I'm gonna keep it short. I just wanted to say, when you're traveling, it's not always easy, and it's not always very nice. This trip to Kazakhstan has been amazing in many different ways, but it's also been very difficult in many different ways as well. And I feel like I'm reaching my limit a little bit. And I just want to sleep and be in my bed and feel comfortable. But no, because there's the nightclub going on, and it might seem like a very trivial thing, but I've had a night train. Yesterday I arrived this morning at 7 a.m. Sorry. All I can eat is rice. I've had every day for about a week 1 bowl of rice every day with a lot of water. That's it. Really hot. I'm sick, and there are stray animals everywhere, and I had an incident yesterday with a kitten that really shocked me, and I can't even really talk about it because I'm gonna cry if I talk about it. So it's been difficult, this and this and this and this and this. It's just a lot, and then you want to relax and you can't. Obviously France has a very higher level of comfort and everything, really. So yeah, it's not always easy. Anyway, I'm gonna shower, put my earplugs in, and hopefully get some sleep, even though all I want to do right now is cry, thinking of the little cat and different things. Yeah. For our next day in Turkestan, we decided with a couple of people from Germany to visit Sauran, which is an ancient city in ruins in the middle of the desert. It was 45 degrees Celsius and so windy I could barely hold the camera. And we spent a bit more time in Turkestan. Our next destination, the last one on the list, was Shymkent. It's the third city in Kazakhstan. It's more Russian, it's more modern, and I loved it. You have beautiful architecture, you have parks, you have big bazaar, you have shopping malls. It's a bit more lively, it's a bit more, I don't know, it feels more like a city you would perhaps find in the very south of Europe. So it definitely was easier for me to adjust to the weather, and it was also a very nice and pretty city. So those were the last moments of the trip. Before heading back to France, we flew back to Almaty. We spent about 2.5 days there, and I had to leave. I had to go back to France. It felt a bit bittersweet. It was definitely bittersweet. I was happy to go back to France, happy to go back to Paris, but also very sad to leave such a wonderful and very, very strong experience and adventure. So if you have the opportunity, I would highly suggest visiting Kazakhstan. It's definitely not a scary and unfriendly place. It's beautiful and has a lot to offer. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel, watch other videos, and if you feel like it, you can support me on Patreon with as much as you want. Thank you for watching this video, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!